Platchums! I think we should go camping. Oh, why? Because I'm already pitching a plat. That was just bad.
And awesome.
Anyway, welcome back to the 4th episode in the biannual trophy review collection series, in which two judgmental pricks look over your trophy list and tell you how you should spend your time. So, we've got 4 fresh accounts to look at today, and we're going to begin with a guy called Revemarkt 66 or 66. A German guy who I believe, I was saying this off camera today, and I believe Revemarkt is like the equivalent of Tesco. It's like a supermarket chain. So, interesting name, possibly giving away his place of work. And straight away, what are your first impressions?
Or maybe his family owns the supermarket.
He is Revemarkt, like legally, that is his name.
Yeah. He's like the Walton, they're the ones who own Walmart or something. But I loaded up the profile, and of course the first thing that jumps out at me is My Little Pony. I believe that's Rainbow Dash, if I'm not maybe. As a big fan of My Little Pony, I can of course relate. I have a 4-year-old, so we know all the songs, and I was never like a brony back in the day because I'd never watched it, but since having kids, I'm a big MLP fan.
Everything you just said went over my head, but I know My Little Pony. Yeah. I didn't know there was a whole culture around it. The bronies were the guys who liked My Little Pony because they're bros. We have a man's man or a woman's woman right here today. My Little Pony, Metal Gear Solid, and Formula 1. That's
it's
eclectic,
a very varied
taste right here. So, okay. Yeah. So, Este Mal. Batman. Straight off the bat, we can look at the plats to the right hand side, and essentially every single Metal Gear Solid plat, bar Revengeance and a guy who wrote it or raised the new one for my mind. Jesus. But Survive. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not even worth committing to memory. So all the mainline Metal Gear games here, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, very impressive to see 4 and Peace Walker. Like they're very impressive. I think Peace Walker is probably harder than 5.
No.
But
no. The reason being you can play the entire story in co-op in Peace Walker, which I thought was going to be a feature in MGS5, and I believe prior to the game's release, Kojima and Konami said there will be co-op like in Peace Walker, but that never materialized for whatever reason. So I was actually very disappointed with that because it worked really well in Peace Walker, and I just thought that 5 was kind of begging for a mode like that, or at least the option.
See, I if I see co-op trophies, I'm immediately like, oh. So like that would be the reason that I would think that was.
I don't think there's any harder. Co-op trophy specifically. It's just that you can play the game with I think up to 4 people if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, and
just makes it easier,
more fun as well. So I think we'll try to ignore the right here and just start. So we've got Batman, not platinumed, but obviously completed. 2. I'm guessing. Based on the completion rate. And we've got our first platinum, Battlefield 1. Great platinum. That's...
Yeah, I got that myself about 2 months ago, 2 months ago. In terms of Battlefield platinums, it's not too bad. There's like only a small amount of multiplayer that you need to do, which is a bit different than some of the other Battlefield games. And then the campaign. We got Battlefield 1943, which was obviously it's quite a large standalone, but that was back in the day when that kind of a game wouldn't get a platinum trophy. But there's definitely enough content in there in 43 for a platinum, and Battlefield 3, 4, and Hardline have platinums, and yeah, they're
not
very
a
impressive.
DLC person.
Battlefield 4.
It's
I can relate also.
A person after your heart, Dan. So it's obviously a fan of Battlefield. It's safe to say I've got Battlefield Bad Company 2 as well. And then we go into...
That's the most impressive one, I think, actually. Yeah, because I remember that one. There was a really hard multiplayer trophy where you needed to get like 30 demolition kills, which was like buildings falling on people. So you had to like demolish the building. It was a very, very hard
I remember
trophy.
you playing that, yeah. And then we've got
the
kind of a funny mix of good taste, I would say. Like we've got Beyond Two Souls, which I always considered the weakest of the kind of recent Quantic Dream games. And oddly, I'd say the most ambitious. It just didn't connect with me in the same way Heavy Rain did or Detroit. Excellent performances from William Dafoe and Elliot Page, I suppose. But I think just narratively it just didn't click with me. I still think it's very good. But yeah,
it was a bit convoluted. The story was a little bit, hard to follow, I thought.
Yeah.
I give props to them for trying, but getting two huge actors to play in a game is always a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, no, it's decent, but I'd say like it's a very doable platinum for Revomocht if he wants to go back and do it. And then we've got BioShock 1, 2 twice, and then we've pretty much every BioShock game twice. So you're obviously a fan of them, maybe not enough to go for the platinum. I would say the original BioShock is definitely the easiest platinum. BioShock 2 with the multiplayer, I'm guessing you'll need to go the remastered route. I think, it's 20%, so I'm guessing they've removed the online, and they have. So, I would say, wait, you're only missing... What are you missing? Wait, why am I scrolling past?
So, a lot of DLC.
Just finish the game on the hardest difficulty. That's all Marked needs to get the platinum. So I would say you're so close. Cool. Just take it as a little side project and go for it.
Yeah. I actually skipped 2 myself. I did 1, didn't do 2, and then Infinite came out, and I heard such good things that I went into Infinite.
I think if you play 2, go for the remaster edition. I mean, you probably picked it up on PlayStation Plus a while back. I think it has the best gameplay out of all of them, and Minerva's Den is possibly like the strongest DLC I've ever played in terms of just sheer quality, like in the narrative and just how it ties in BioShock Infinite with the original. Not to give away spoilers, but I mean, if you have, the remaster edition, man, like I would say definitely go for it, and also because the list kind of excludes those annoying online trophies, I'd say it's a great game waiting to be played.
Maybe, yeah. Actually, it's one I've definitely overlooked. I had a tough time with BioShock 1. Not gonna lie, back in the day. I remember I think I finished it the first time on like the hardest difficulty, but like I missed some collectibles that I was like locked out, or I couldn't go back to them or something, and I was like really disheartened with it. So it did take me a long time to go back.
Yeah, I think that's probably what my proudest platinum for a while. It was one of my first ones, and I think it was the first one that really took like. It's like, okay, I'm into collecting trophies. When I had that moment with myself, it's like, okay, I'm going to go for it.
Well, I remember it being quite like a survival horror game in a lot of senses. Like, I felt like on the hardest difficulty because you were very, very vulnerable against the big daddies.
Great game.
I didn't find that in
yeah,
Infinite.
Infinite was a bit more streamlined, but we'll move
easier.
on. Bully Platinum, excellent game.
It's a good one.
And again, person after your heart. I think every single Call of Duty game known to mankind here.
Yeah.
Not all of them platted. We've got Modern Warfare 2, just the campaign remastered. World of War, that's actually I always commend people that have that platinum. I actually think that that's one of the harder Call of Duty platinums. Now, I don't have the experience with more recent ones, but
in terms of like, actual gameplay, that has the hardest campaign, I would say. Now they've added, like in the newer games, they've added extra difficulties like realism or realistic, I can't remember, but basically one shot and you're dead. That can be kind of cheesed with like thermal scopes and stuff. But I just remember
the grenades. I just remember going, make it stop. Like I was getting shell shocked just listening to the grenade.
Yeah.
It was relentless, and I remember being stuck behind one like sandbag, for like a good 15 minutes because I'd come so far, and I'm just like, and it's like how many grenades do they have? And then Cyberpunk 2077, someone took the plunge.
Pretty close. As well.
It's the first time I've actually seen it on someone's list, which is insane.
Yeah. I avoided it myself. I'm waiting for it to be officially released.
Yeah. When it's out of alpha, I'll probably go for it. And then we've got every single Dead Space game. None of them platted. My advice would be at least get the first one. I know maybe it's a little old, like you were playing this in 2015. Beat the game using the plasma cutter, upgrade all the weapons, get 30 kills with some weapons, find the peen treasure. Like that is very, very doable, and it's a classic at this point.
In terms of like, games that have aged well, I would hold that as one of the better examples. I think in terms of gameplay, I think it could be, released tomorrow.
I think the first two, oddly enough, like, Dead Space 3, I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a good game, but it wasn't a very good Dead Space game, if I can make a random distinction.
Yeah, it's a good.
And I think just with the co-op as well. And have you played Dead Space 3?
No, I avoided it. I loved 1 and 2, but then I saw 3, and I felt at the time that it just kind of took that EA bullet.
I think
to
you
the
might
head.
be somewhat surprised by it. I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. It's still like a very good game, especially with the co-op partner. That could be another series if anyone wants to see us play. And
absolutely.
I think that'd be a good platinum to add to your collection. Finish off the Dead Space series. Then we've got Death Stranding, not platted. I'm guessing it's just Link get a 5-star connection. And premium deliveries, it is maximum connection, all that stuff, and the memory chips. Doable, but
the memory chips are quite easy.
Yeah, they are.
In fairness, it's not hard collectibles in that game, because the game is like a giant collectible itself. But it's a great game.
Well, okay, you're living up to your About Me section, saying you're a Formula 1 fan. Look at this. My God, a stakeholder in that company would be very happy seeing this. You come back every year, and the completion kind of almost deteriorates as the years go on. I wouldn't say I know too much about the difficulty of Formula 1 games. I can say that I'm personally into it, and I'm guessing a lot of these are possibly unobtainable. Can't say for certain. I don't know if there's online trophies, but you can assume with sports games that have some kind of online competitive component. And then Fallout 4, empty, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. I get the sense that Revamart is just a old fashioned gamer. Just
I think you can clearly see from the completion percentage that he's finishing these games, most of the way, and then it's just the kind of cleanup of the trophies that he's avoiding. And I think if you're trying to get the most efficient way of gaming is doing that, because you're getting the bulk of the experience, and then you're cutting out all the fluff,
I think this is I think someone that just loves playing games and just moves on to other things. And then certain games like Horizon here, 100%, Killzone 1, 2, 3, all plats. And then like something like Metal Gear Solid 2, and is very close to getting it on the Vita as well. I'm guessing that's just complete the virtual missions. So like,
it's harder on the
controls,
Vita because the controls.
My God, I can only imagine. Like I wish I could connect up a PS2 controller when I was playing the HD collection. Like, it feels more intuitive. So I think this is like, look at them Metal Gear Solid. Like, I don't actually have Ground Zeroes. I never put it on my profile for some reason. Peace Walker, Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 4 is fantastic. I think that's like if you can get the MGS 4 Platinum, you're good. Like,
yeah. Do you think it's harder? 4 is harder than 2.
I would say 4 is like, you need to do certain things, like, get the big boss emblem, play it on the hardest difficulty.
There's a lot more playthroughs involved.
And I think there's more playthroughs in 4, and it's a much longer game. I mean, like, everyone always points to, you need to collect the dog tags and like finish it on every difficulty. But the tanker section, I'm sorry, like, if you play it on very easy, and normal, I think you unlock enough dog tags to get the stealth camo. And you can then just run through the game, run through the tanker section, and just focus on collecting the dog tags or any other collectibles. I think because of that, it really isn't as difficult as people make it out. And even without the stealth camo, like, I could probably do a run through of the tanker in maybe 30 minutes. Just skip the cutscenes. It's more the virtual missions, the VR missions, that I think just stumps people, particularly like the Naked Riding ones and the MGS1 Solid Snake. But I think 4 is just bulkier, whereas MGS2 split over very small sections. You do it very easy, get the dog tags, you do a couple of missions, there's smaller parts. But they're all like great platinums. Like, MGS3, my favorite game, and just a beautiful trophy list, just a perfect list for a perfect game. Like, I thought that was spot on. But I don't want to wax lyrical about MGS all day. So, wait, Survive, you've played it. There it is.
I think that speaks volumes.
I think this is a message. It's like you planted every other Metal Gear game, and then it looks like you spat this side of your PS4. You just and burnt the disc. Good. You've earned my respect for not completing this. Okay.
Basically, he's not big into the non-Kojima ones, because I don't think Kojima was too heavily involved.
I think Kojima is looking at this list somewhere in the world and just approving, just going, "That's my boy."
Fuck you, Konami.
And he's just trolling them. We've got Metro.
Metro. I have to go back to Metro myself. I played it actually on the Xbox a long time ago, 360, the first one, and I really liked it. I liked the kind of mixture of survival elements, and
I need to play it as well. Like, I've had Last Light and Redo and Metro 2033 for ages. I just haven't played them. I've owned them for about 2 years and I still haven't played them. And I have no excuse. And
we'll have
what
to go
is
back.
jumping out of me, which kind of makes it this is what's so intriguing about looking at people's lists. You think you have them figured out, and then they hit you with a Red Dead 2 plat.
Major props there. That's a serious platinum.
We can
have
say
it,
that
but,
for once. We both have it.
We know.
We can both be smug.
We know how much work has gone into that. It's no small
I think if you're watching this, just look in the eyes and go, "I know, I understand." Respect. Yeah, no, that's mad to me. That's, you know, you must love Red Dead 2, but you don't have the Red Dead 1 plat. Shadow, the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Spyro games, all platted. Very nice to see. Last of Us Part 2, another nice plat. Order 1886, which is a game, took you 5 years. That must be the longest playthrough of this game. The Order 1886 is actually a game that I've been more and more thinking about playing.
I would recommend playing it at least. Like, I would, if you can borrow it from someone, I'd recommend that. I wouldn't recommend going out and purchasing it.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a quality experience for what it is, but it's nearly like I'd call it nearly like a tech demo rather than a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally finished it in like one sitting. It was it's not long, it's not hard. It's such a cool setting. It's really disappointing that they didn't do more with it.
It's a game that, like, you know, the Order 1887, you know, like, I'm surprised there was never a sequel.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 1886.
Yeah.
The Saboteur, which is a game I know you have a fondness for.
Yes. Yeah, I remember Christmas of whatever year that was. It was maybe 2011,
yeah, seems about right.
Perhaps. Maybe even 2009. I got FIFA. I think it must have been FIFA 10 or something, or FIFA 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have any intention of playing FIFA 10 or 11. So I went up to the game store, and your man in there was friendly with me, so he swapped it for me.
What a legend.
Then and there, so that was really handy. Yeah, really nice guy. And yeah, I had a great time with it. It's a cool setting, you know. Paris in World War II is cool because it's got that kind of, you know, noir.
What was the character's name? Was it like Irish McGuinness?
Yeah, something like that. Patrick McIrish.
Seamus Magoo,
exactly, but
Seamus McTaddo, or like like it was like, oh Jesus, oh the Eiffel Tower. Oh.
But it was a good game. Good game. It was at that peak, you know, that peak Ubisoft explored the map, you know, explosion. It was like the revolution of the open world.
Oh my God, a question mark. Revolutionary.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was the prime time of that
It's
genre,
nice to see a game like that,
but
like, kind of like a forgotten kind of cult game, you know.
It is. Definitely underrated. You know, it's not a game you see or hear about very often, but a quality experience.
So we moved on. We've got Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Uncharted, platinum in all of them.
Can I just say as well, just Tomb Raider drives me mad how it's like it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider. It drives me mental that it's not alphabetical.
Yeah, that is
it just should be Tomb Raider.
I think, you know, if it had any sense to be Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the, and just Tomb Raider Edition of Definite.
Such crap names.
That is gap. Yeah. You know, if you want to organize your trophy alphabetically, that is poor form. That is poor form. Golden Abyss. That'd be one of the main reasons I want to pick up a Vita.
Yes, yeah, I said that to you before that you can borrow mine, and you absolutely can. Because I'm kind of finished my Vita, but I use my Vita for remote play a lot. So it's very handy for.
I still use my PSP 4. Like for music when I'm traveling. Like it's still a great, like I think the PSP release tomorrow, people will still think it looks really sleek. I love the design of it. But this isn't a PSP podcast. We'll save that for next week. Wolfenstein, none of the plats.
Wolfenstein.
It's Wolfenstein 2, isn't it, with the Mein Leben?
Yes, the deathless run on the hardest difficulty, which is I would probably say it's probably verging on one of the hardest PlayStation 4 trophies.
It's interesting. This is in German. And saying, schneide das Spiel auf dem schwierigsten Kitegrad, mein lieben Arm. You can correct me in the comments. There it is, 1.53 on PSN profiles and 0.1. Yeah, there's a few other random ones.
It's impressive.
That
Um, and then just to finish the list off, 13.
The list with 13, which is interesting.
Yeah, this is a game that I really, really liked when I was, when I had it on. I can't remember, did I have it on the GameCube or did I have it on the PlayStation 2? But whatever I had on it, it was really, really good. Cel shaded style, the weapons were cool, local multiplayer was really good as well. But I've heard that the re-release isn't so hot.
I've heard that too.
A lot of people, I think they changed the graphical style and there was some changes to it that didn't go down.
Yeah, I rented the original. God, like how long ago was that? And it blew me away, like graphically, and also just David Duchovny giving the most David Duchovny performance of all time.
Yeah.
Which was great. To be fair, it's exactly what you want. Just David Duchovny kind of Duchovny-ing his way through his lines. So maybe at some point I might pick it up, but it's a shame they didn't keep the essence of the original. But yeah, thoughts on Revermarkt 6.6?
I think speaking about 13 and the days of old when we would play games on the PlayStation 2 and things, I feel like his list kind of would look like my PlayStation 2 list if there was trophies back then.
Okay.
Because that's how I would have played games back then. I wouldn't have like gone out of my way to get like, ridiculous collectibles if there was like no tangible benefit for it. So I would often just stop the game once I was kind of happy with it. So, I think, like I said earlier, I think someone like Revermarkt's list is really it's like the efficient gamer's list. It's like, I'm going to play this game, I'm finished it, I had fun with it, I'm done, I'm moving on to the next game.
Yeah, no.
And we've said this a lot. This is often something that I think maybe trophies discourage, that kind of efficiency, and they end us up on the kind of the path of
only playing the games,
ridiculous grinding,
dictate the games you play. Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Like I think I was always someone that kind of went for 100%, but I would say there'd be loads of games that like I would have rented because that was an option back in the day. So I would say this would be reflective of essentially just someone that loves games, has a certain affinity for first-person shooters, racing games, particularly Formula 1 and the Metal Gear Solid series, and I think the Platts kind of show that, really. Overall, yeah. Great list. Great
good
games.
List, yeah.
No
Absolutely.
Fluff. The Platts you have are really fucking good Platts. Just great games, especially that Red Dead 2 Platt. And Killzone 2. So they're excellent. So I will give you the title of Deutsch Tesco.
Super store.
Revermeister 6.6.
Nice. Even I know what that means.
On mein kleiner Wert, I think horses. I don't know what pony is in German, but you're my little horse.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up.
Yeah.
Realm 722. South Florida sports not even once. I think we're too Irish to understand that reference, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump straight in. Oh, okay. A lot of ultra rares. In relation to the amount of trophies they have.
Yes, yeah. It's 5,500 trophies, but 151 ultra rares, which is very impressive.
No, I'm actually surprised. So already, just by sorting it alphabetically, this is an intriguing list. This is a very intriguing list. What are your first thoughts here when you see 2064 read-only memories, 88 heroes, Hat in Time, Absolute Drift? What is the completion rate? Okay, we're looking at a 95% completion rate actually.
Yeah, it's
So
impressive for 163
yeah,
games.
so
Um, we've got some pretty great variety there in the indie
hmm
games. Um, I've yet to play A Hat in Time, but I'm really looking forward to it whenever it gets you know, whenever I can pick it up. Abzu is excellent. Actually, Abzu in an hour and 38 minutes is super efficient. It took me a lot longer than that. Adventure Time is cool. Another World, we spoke about that before. I think you told me you played that
yeah,
on
I've the
Steam, and I played
100%
it a long
on
time ago.
Steam. I think I again was that
Yeah,
was on PlayStation Plus a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
it was, yeah, and I think the PlayStation Plus version just didn't get a great reception. Even though it's a like a pretty
Yeah, it's a
critically
classic
acclaimed
game. Like the reason
game.
I didn't play it personally was that like I just finished it on Steam, and I've had my
Yeah,
time with the game. We've got a lot of arcade games, always kind of
yeah,
interesting to see. So I'm assuming maybe an older gamer. Um,
yeah, yeah.
ooh.
Arcade games are always, they're always kind of a passion
Mhm.
project, for a
Mhm.
lot of people. You can always play them again and again, and you can see the completion rate's quite low for them because they often do heavily rely
Mhm.
on skill. The arcade games are,
Skill
very
and
unforgiving.
passion, and then like look, Arkham Knight 100%. Bravo. I mean, we
Yeah,
don't
bravo.
really
Yeah,
put a rating or scale or like have a leaderboard on our little trophy collection series, but 100% on Batman Arkham Knight would be worth at least 7.32 Platchums. I mean, wow,
wow,
I know
wow.
I don't say that lightly. And then just Battleship, just following it up.
Yeah.
Beholder 2, Beholder Complete Edition. Um,
And see there just above Batman as well is
yeah.
Bastion, and then in his trophy cabinet he's got Pyre as well. So they're both
hmm
Supergiant games, and I think Supergiant they're probably my
They
favorite
they
indie
did
developer.
Transistor as well,
Um,
didn't they? Yeah.
yeah, they did. Yeah, and this year or last year they did Hades as well, which unfortunately didn't yet come out on the
hmm
PlayStation. I have it on the Switch, but I'm really looking forward to whenever
That
they
they'll
bring it out
have
on the
to
PlayStation because I'll get
inevitably.
it again.
Brothers
Yeah,
Tale of Two
yeah,
Sons, love that game. Burly Men at Sea shows up
me too.
again. Um,
Yeah, that's one of our favorites.
Burnout Paradise Remastered. Always like the one racing game, bar Midnight Club, that I always enjoyed. Burnout 2 and Burnout 3. I thought they were great games, and I was always on the fence about getting Burnout Paradise. Just I have no racing games on
Yeah.
my account at all, but that was just the one game that I'm like, I might
Yes.
give it a go. Well, like it's just S ranks here, man. Just
It is.
collateral
Yeah.
damage, cell damage,
Um.
chess, ultra. Like you're a person of refined taste, especially when you see games like Coffee Talk. So Coffee Talk. Yeah.
That looks that's actually one of my most kind of anticipated games to get. Coffee Talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be really really good. Came out last year, and it's supposed to be super interesting. So I'm looking forward to getting that myself. Actually, I hear it's kind of one of the best games of last year and from the indie
Okay,
scene at
no,
least.
I might actually add that to my list. Dark Mystery.
There was actually a surprisingly large amount of bartender coffee barista style
So
games
hot
last
right
year.
now. Man
Yeah,
Bun
but
Simulator.
Coffee Talk was definitely one of the top ones there, in that genre of serving people
Um,
beverages.
again,
Um,
a very, again, it's a very eclectic mix. Old school arcade,
Dear
Dear
Esther
Esther.
is really
Um,
cool. That's one of like the first walking
hmm
sims.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
kind
no,
of
I know it.
that was
Um,
released.
Dead
Yeah,
Cells there again, FIFA, and then FIFA just making a random appearance here. Um,
yeah,
FIFA every year, but
yeah. Actually,
most of them platted. To be fair, so there's definitely some skill there. I only have the FIFA 18 plant out of the ones you have. Um,
Forgotten Anne is another game actually I have currently in my basket because it's on sale. It's kind of like a Studio Ghibli game where it's in that kind of art style of like Princess Mononoke or those movies. And it's supposed to be great as well. You know, I can see actually a lot of smaller indie games that have really nice trophy lists, but like review really, really well on this list that I've played and that I want to play. So I'm really impressed with that. I'm really like I'm getting I'm just looking out for any other games like that because it's clear he or she of course is pretty concerned with just playing good games. Like I don't think I've seen a bad game on the list yet.
First with dipping the toe in the indie market, like this is like the cool person that would work in like a record store that has their ear to the ground on like kind of like all these hit bands that no one's heard of. Because I'm just looking at this going, that looks kind of curious, or I've never heard of that, and like lists like this can kind of inspire you or educate you, going like there's a whole other realm of video games that doesn't get enough discussion. So this is quite interesting. Like
Absolutely.
Gravity Rush, great games, Grim Fandango, Guacamelee 2, which I think I will play at some point because I love the original. But it's just a game that so far just haven't gotten to.
The platinum is actually a lot less rare than the first one, so I must look into that because I love the first game as well. But I remember there was some really challenging platforming in the first game.
I thought the first game was hard but fair. Hard but fair. But I will play the second one at some point. Harvest Moon, I'm still waiting on a Back to Nature remaster. That was my Harvest Moon game. Heavy Rain, Hollow Knight. Do you think they did it legit?
A week, 6 days is pretty quick.
Ooh.
For Hollow Knight. I don't know, like maybe
with the arcade experience.
Like it's a doable platinum, definitely. Like it's not one that is impossible. It's just that 7.17% is only because of that invincibility glitch. Like that'd be a sub, at least a sub 2, if not sub 1%, without that glitch.
We'll let the mob decide. It's
But see, like I played it and I used the invincibility glitch to clean up the platinum because like I found it that last challenge I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to put the time in for this. It's so skill dependent and you really just need to learn every single boss pattern. But even like what I would have no shame in saying that I used that glitch just to get the platinum, because you still have to get like 80% of the way through the game anyway. And it's not an easy game anyway, really. It's just that last trophy really it's just down to one trophy that you'd really need to.
I guess it's kind of like, gamers have abused glitches and things like that for speed runs for years. If you kind of criticized a trophy hunter for using a glitch like that, then you should then consider all speed runs null and void because it's technically not the correct way to play the game. You just kind of abuse the mechanics that are there. If you want to do it that way, go for it. I think. Well, I'm trying to think of one with, The Last of Us, Part 2. I use the load up an encounter and then set all the cheats on, just at the Raccoon, because it's like I'm not going to torture myself. I played the game 3 times and the cheats are there.
I agree. Yeah, no, I'd have I think there's a big difference there. It's just, and especially because the platinum did lose so much rarity. Everyone has used the glitch. It's very, very rare. And if you are really, really into Hollow Knight and you want to do it legit, more power to you. I just say if you do it legit, record yourself doing it and upload it for the.
Are you the Hollow Knight cop?
Because not because I need proof, but just because it's so impressive that it's worth sharing.
Yes.
It's definitely worth sharing if you can do it legit, because it's not easy. We've got Horizon 100% again, so the new game plus and the DLC. Only Infamous First Light, which is
That's
interesting
really odd.
because
None of the OG originals or Second Son. I'm guessing PlayStation Plus, you just got it. Although that's October 2020.
Oh yeah.
So First Light was on PlayStation Plus. God, it must be 4 years ago. So interesting purchasing history
and
right there.
Second Son is such a doable platinum as well. It does take 2 playthroughs, but the playthroughs are super quick, and it's a good.
It felt like a backward step from Infamous 2, but yeah.
Yeah, but it felt like something at the start of the very sparse.
It was a great launch title.
Release.
Great launch title.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like a launch window title, because it definitely didn't come out launch day, as far as I remember. I think it was like the new year. I think it came out in like February or something. I might be wrong.
I honestly can't remember. I was 2 years late.
I know it definitely didn't come out new with the PlayStation 4, because I just played. I played like Black Flag when the PS4 came out.
Good times. Good times.
So I would have definitely had Infamous had it come out.
You got Knack.
Island Saver is cool. Island Saver is made by KBC Bank, I think. The UK bank,
National Westminster Bank.
Okay, yeah. So it's a game that teaches children how to save money and clean up pollution at the same time.
Aww.
It's a free to play game, but I downloaded it on the Switch for my daughter, and she had a good time with it.
And she's great with tax.
So.
She fills out your tax return sheets after playing that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Again, what an interesting list. Journey, Knack, Knowledge is Power, Kona, Life is Strange, Only Little Big Planet 3. I bar the date. This February was a strange, crazy month for you. Just picking up random games.
Yeah. Similar maybe to myself, that might have been a bit of backlog clearing up as well.
Maybe,
perhaps.
Yeah. All the Maddens, which are all ultra rare, bar 15s. So
Florida sports.
I'm starting to connect the dots here. You're a bit of a time traveler, unless it's just the 25th game, Madden NFL 25.
I have no idea.
So my hypothesis, based on the fact I know nothing about footballer, is realm. You're out of this realm and out of this time. You are a time traveler. So I'm going to
that must be.
I'm going to ignore that. Or you have a 7-year early access code. Then Mahjong. It's going to be Yakuza. There's going to be Yakuza later in this list.
If there isn't Yakuza,
you've wasted your Mahjong skills. Spider-Man Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which I will maybe play because it's normally on sale for the guts of €3.
Yeah, they're trying to give it away.
MLB, so baseball fan as well. NBA, basketball. Then we've got Need for Speed, and then Ni no Kuni. You must be a very interesting person to have a drink with. Okami, excellent.
Owlboy and Oxenfree, they're two games that are on my radar.
I want to try Oxenfree.
Indie titles.
I actually want to try Oxenfree.
Yeah, Oxenfree looks great.
And then
it's always a tenner as well, so it's a pretty good price.
Look at this Persona 5. Pyre.
Nice. Yeah.
Risk of Rain. It's so satisfying to see all these S ranks, isn't it? Rogue Ace, Scrabble. Yeah. I'm thinking a bit of an intellectual. I can imagine someone in a tweed jacket and with the denim patches, not leather, denim. This is my idea of class. Denim patches and like a fine Bruskin port. Fine Bruskin port. Just in swirling it while you get 100% in Scrabble.
Yes, yeah. Slay the Spire as well, and it's a card game. I think.
Oh, Sonic Mania, that's a very impressive 100%.
Yeah, that's maybe going back to the to the arcade skills.
The trophy, that elusive professional hedgehog. It's like essentially you need to make like a perfect run through a level. So damn, damn, got some skills here. This is like a as I said, just someone that owns like an independent music store, except a video game equivalent, and they're just in the know with like the off the beaten track indie games.
Well, what I do, and I think Realm might do the same, is I love to go through the entirety of like a sale every time a sale comes out, and if I see a game that like looks good, because usually you can kind of tell based on the splash art of how good a game is. You can, if depending on the splash art, they might have put certain amount of work into it. But if a game looks interesting, I'll do a little bit of research on it, and I'll see how it reviews. Then I might check the trophy guide and see, is it handy enough, or is it fairly challenging? And that's a kind of good way of finding these kind of small indie games, but it takes a while.
You need to put the work
in.
You
really do need to. You need to invest some time in like researching them, and because like you mentioned, there isn't any reviews like
in the
classic
very few
websites that do
like
reviews.
You need to go.
Yeah, on these
you'd
ones.
almost need to establish a website for yourself to review them.
Yeah.
Then again, I just always love seeing the swapper. I feel like in the kind of indie current that was going a couple of years ago when they started to really take off, I feel like that just got left behind, but I think it's an excellent game. I always compare it to the movie Moon with Sam Rockwell. Just evokes the same kind of tone. I don't know. Unfinished Swan, Witness, again, not surprised to see The Witness. You're big on puzzles. I just stumbled on a very, very impressive platinum. Unravel 2.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's
the
impressive.
first person I've seen with this.
Yeah, it's so impressive because you need not just one person to be skilled at the game. You need two people to be skilled at the game at the same time.
Excellent, and also like the first game in 2 weeks is a pretty good time. And of course Transistor there. And we finish on Wizard of Legend and Yoko's Island Express.
Another one, it's like a pinball platformer. Really reviews really well as well. It's really funny because when I look through this list, I just see all these games that I like have either purchased and played myself or plan on them. Yeah,
I'm scrolling up and I just
quality.
Tropico 5, which is an ultra rare plat, and ultra rare 100% as well.
It's a PS Plus game last year.
Yeah, no, this is a fascinating list, and it makes I know Yakuza. If you get 100%
Yakuza, you must use them.
Get the Yakuza games. You've mastered the most difficult bit of it. This is a great list, and it's first trophy 7 years ago. So, for the amount of like trophies overall, 5,560. Pretty consistent, over 2 trophies a day on average. Loads of ultra rare, great mix of games. You seem like an interesting person based on your list.
Yes, yeah. The interesting mix of quite into sports and very very intellectual, which is it's an interesting.
Definitely
mix.
Doing chess while watching and cursing at the basketball game. South Florida Sports, I'm going to brand the South Florida sportsman with culture on the side. Great list, like excellent list.
Great list.
Like, yeah.
I think it's the intellectuals.
Yes,
list.
If we had a leaderboard, this would be on the intellectuals list beside the hunter and the whore.
I'm gonna go back to this guy's list later.
I'm gonna bookmark that shit.
Some great indie indie games that I'm yet to play, because I really like some of the games there, because I'm always on the lookout for smaller, indie games to pepper in between my larger
Yeah,
games.
if Realm, if you're watching
at
this, like, drop us a message, Matt. Let's have a beer sometime. So, next up, alternate warning: scientist by day, gamer by night. You know what they say.
Oh wow, we're continuing on the intellectual
Okay.
theme here.
Let's see if it squares up to Realm. So, only 3,000 trophies. I'm assuming this is a relatively new account. 5 years. So.
Yeah.
One ultra rare.
Okay.
One ultra rare from Final Fantasy 15. So this is kind of a different beast,
Okay,
but also kind of obscure games just creeping out of me here. So what do you think?
Yeah, it seems very, very heavy on the Japanese games. Obviously a lot of, from what I can see, there's a few visual novels and those kind of games. Danganronpa, which is
no one
RPG.
wants to platinum beyond 2 souls, it seems.
No.
Because this person has an 88% completion rate. They've hidden 2 trophies, but everyone has their dirty laundry. So like this is like once you hit over 80% completion, you're objectively big in the trophies. So what's with the anti beyond 2 souls plat hatred going on?
I'm not super well versed in a lot of these in a lot of these games. Obviously, I know Code Realize. That's very, very popular.
Yeah, I must say that this is maybe a bit beyond my unpaid grade.
Yeah, it's a very, very Vita heavy.
It is. It's very Vita heavy.
And that is, the Vita did so well in Japan. Really, it is effectively a Japanese exclusive console in a lot of ways, because if you look through the store, it's hard to, especially these days, it's very hard to find games that are kind of have been released in any recent time. It's all more the Japanese games, because I think it's maybe still a little bit supported.
Oh, no, it very much is. And
completely dead
handheld
in the West,
market is just a different beast in Japan.
But yeah, some obviously the Danganronpa series is huge, and it's a great series. Diablo 3, Dragon Ball, Digimon, Final Fantasy,
God of War,
and actually not on the Vita, even though you can get all those games on the Vita, except for the 2018 one.
Someone that doesn't like the
rest
and
of the
Horizon. It seems to be the most platted game. I think everyone has Horizon. Hyper Devotion.
It's definitely one of the biggest.
This would be a list that I would love
Hatsune Miku.
To just look up these games. I obviously know Kingdom Hearts, massive Kingdom Hearts fan, obviously. Not all platted, but it seems like you're kind of coming back to it. Say a trophy here in Birth by Sleep, 8th of January. So it could be a case of just working through a backlog.
They're not easy as well. Like a lot of them are very grind heavy. Especially the like 1 and 2 and Birth by Sleep. They're all really, really grindy, difficult platinums. Spider-Man, I'd say Spider-Man has to be the most platted game ever.
It has to be, yeah. It's like the intro to trophy hunting at this point. I'm assuming those last 2 are just the new game plus. Mary Skelter Nightmares.
Yes, yeah.
I've heard of that. I think that's one of those.
Yeah, it is. It's new game plus and ultimate difficulty, which I do not blame.
It's not too bad
warning.
if you've got all your unlocks, to be fair. And Persona.
I'm currently working my way through Persona 5 Royal. I am in the 3rd semester, and very unfortunately, I made a mistake. I wasn't, I saw that the platinum was like 50%, and I was like, oh, this will be handy. I don't even need a trophy guide. And then I got to like the end of the game, and I was expecting to go into the royal content, and lo and behold, I did not meet the criteria to go into the royal
Oh
content.
shit.
Because I missed someone. I missed
Oh.
finishing someone's
Oh
social
no.
link, and I had to go back about 15 to 20 hours back,
Oh.
and start
Can
playing
you
it again.
imagine doing the
I was just
original trophy list? Just how much of a like micromanagement nightmare.
But that's it. I thought, from reading, like a really, really sparse reading of the trophy list before I started Royal, I thought, oh, this is great. I basically don't even need a trophy guide. I just, I don't need a guide at all. And it's always my favorite way to play a game. It's just play it. And then I got up this far thinking that I was doing really well, because I generally play those games quite meticulously anyway. But I just missed, I needed 2 extra days with one character that I didn't
That
do.
is
And that
ridiculous.
locked me out of the whole third
Oh
semester of
god,
the
it's
game.
Bloodborne syndrome. If you were to look at the rarity, you go, well, that's not too bad. But you don't consider the actual player base of who is playing that game. It's 20% of like a
Yeah.
crazy demographic that are like you can't take them at face value. Like I'd say,
Absolutely. Yeah, like I think I'm on about 130 hours at the minute, and some of that has actually been like, extra because I had to go back, and I'm not even like the full way through semester 3 yet. Like, so I still have a good bit to go. Like, that's a long game, and for the platinum to be just an uncommon, I think it's at like 40 something percent.
you're going to
it's
be quite
bonkers.
deflated
I
when you finish it. It's like,
Yeah.
it feels like it should be worth so much more. So we'll keep flicking through here. So we've got Steins Gate, which was a series that a friend of mine is big into, but I never actually got into, to be fair. Tales of Exalia, the Welcome Pack, which has popped up twice already. Wolf Among Us, which is great. Words to Doku. We've got the intellectual section, I think. Overall, I wish I knew more about the games that make up the majority of your list. Say games like Psychopaths, Mandatory Happiness, or Psychedelia of the Black Butterfly. I honestly don't know enough to make any kind of comments, so I think I'm just going to say, great completion rate, interesting lineup of games again, but in a different way to Realm. I said in like a previous episode that the most interesting thing about these for me is, and I think for you, is just to see like just the mad mix of games that are out there, and it's like kind of broadening our horizons. This is the first list that I've seen that I legitimately feel like I just don't have enough knowledge. I'm not going to bullshit anyone. I just feel like I don't know enough about these games.
I'm the same. Like, I know the big ones, but there's so many games in there that I've never played and that I don't know. Like, I know them from looking through the PlayStation Vita store, because I'm always like trying to find extra games to play on the Vita. If Alternate Warning watches this, if you could throw me some, like, maybe of your best Vita recommendations, I'd love that, because I'm sure there's some
If you
excellent
can give
games
me a Vita.
in there that I've never seen. Yeah.
See that's I'm just lacking.
In terms of,
I don't have a Vita, so
in terms of games that just because I don't see it, my favorite Vita game is Severed, which is by Drinkbox, who do Guacamelee as well, and it's a really, really good game for the Vita, and it's a easy platinum as well. It's about 10-hour platinum or so, but it's a really good game. It's kind of like, Fruit Ninja, where you swipe. You have to do that against the enemies, like limbs and stuff, but there's like a lot of tactics involved, and it's like an RPG. And yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game for the Vita. And just because I know this and that Alternate Warning likes Vita, it's a good game to pick
beautiful.
up.
We can all just learn from each other, sit on a park bench somewhere and just share and regale tales of, beautiful games. So yeah, overall, like, great list. I just wish, good completion. I just wish I had more to say about the games, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Because I'm, a gamer by day, idiot by night, it seems. Yeah. So we'll leave you there. Great, good list. So the last one is a short one, and it's Lancashire Lad. I wonder where he comes from. I play games I like and try to do the best I can. So,
Well,
holy
A for effort.
fuck. That's an understatement, because then you look at the trophy cabinet, Ninja Gaiden 2 and Devil May Cry 5.
Wow. Yeah, Devil May Cry 5. I'd say it's, again, we mentioned Wolfenstein 2.
Cool.
Devil May Cry 5 has to be one of the hardest PlayStation
The best
4
you can
games.
do is pretty fucking good, it seems. So 91 completion rate. 22 games played. 12. Let's see. This is first trophy 8 months ago. Okay, so you're on a mission to build this account up, it seems. So you've got Arkham Asylum, Blaze Blue, Centrification, Blaze Blue again, Cross Type Battle, and Crash Team Racing, and none of the other Crash Bandicoots so far, but maybe you're going to be adding them. Oh my god, the list!
I think that's
the games. The Lancashire Lad is adding
it's such
Gran Turismo 5 on a brand new account, and you're already 85% of the way there.
it's such an eclectic list of games, because
Seems to be the word of the day, because
there's
like all these lists are a bit mad.
well, this one has like a lot of PS3 games as well, which
Mirror's
is
Edge,
interesting.
Van Halen, Guitar Hero, Dead or Alive 5, which is a super rare.
I think Van Halen must be a bit of a tribute.
Yeah, recently
Tribute act.
passed away. Tribute act in Lancashire.
Sorry for laughing.
And Star Ocean. Now, I had no trophies unlocked yet, but my god, this is a list that is being curated to be like an ultra rare heavy list, because 901 trophies, but already 65 ultra rares, and the games that have been added, like the PS3 games like Persona 4 Arena, Star Ocean, Gran Turismo, Guitar Hero, Van Halen, and Dead or Alive 5 are all super ultra rare, as in like we're talking under the 1% on PSN profiles.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it must be 0.01 on Sony's side. Yeah, and Wipeout HD as well, and also Wet. Someone played Wet in 2021. That is, and
Wow.
Vanquish. Oh my god.
I always wanted to play Wet, and I never bought it. It was one of those games that was like always, there on the shelf when I went in, but I never like committed to it.
At
But it
least
looked
you.
cool.
I love
Looked
the trophy art here. I'm just looking at them. At least you know it's doable. So if you want to whip by, because I'm going to be bringing out the old PS3 out of retirement soon enough, I think, because there's still like 2 or 3 games on it that I kind of want to finish off before I make the leap to PS5. Like I'm in kind of clean up backlog mode, like the games that I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
Wow, like you're going back to like the PS3's hard hitting platinums, like the only game you're missing in terms of like elite level PS3 is, to be honest, like something like Max Payne 3. But
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Wipeout HD is just one.
that was the hardest plat for a while. I remember like looking at forums,
It was
PS3trophies.com. That was like the kind of ultimate seal of approval.
Oh, yeah. Possibly not possible anymore. Possibly not possible, because I can see there the trophies that are missing are online ones win 12 races, because as far as I can see, yeah, he's got the Zone Zeus, which is obviously one of the hardest ones, and the Beats Eco. Beats Eco, of course, was always the infamous trophy that it was like it actually requires perfection. Yeah, so very, extremely impressive. It's just
I hope
those online trophies.
I hope Lancashire Lad can get that, because that'd be a shame, at such an early point. But maybe they don't necessarily care. They just like, this could also be a list, I think, of just like, I want my absolute favorite games, or like favorite challenging games. Because like this is again just like Demon Souls as well in 5 days. Like Lancashire Lad just shit that ice like Demon Souls, like done, and not like let's get to the good stuff. Ninja Gaiden, done. You know.
Yeah, Sigma too it's a pretty impressive platinum.
I think that this kind could be something special.
It's like we saw a few accounts before. I remember with some kind of like curated lists, where it's even though the list is only 8 months old, it's clear that this is not a gamer with 8 months experience.
Yeah, you didn't just start this.
This is
so from me.
Well, I hope not.
My God, he's a prodigy. He's a prodigy. Give me a plane to Lancashire right now. I'm looking for a lad. This is this is genuinely an account that I want to maybe bookmark and have a look at in a year, and just see where it's at.
Yeah,
like, give Lancashire Lad a year, because I think you can see the plays he's making in terms of like the games and what direction they want the list to go. So for that reason, I don't know if Lad 87 cares about the fabled 100% completion. And maybe just didn't consider the online trophies, because the latest trophy was the 13th of January. Or maybe that's not even the point of the list, just to have it on the list and to show that I beat Seiko, because like if you've done that, you'd like that's the plaid anyway. So wow, quite a lineup of lists today.
Definitely, yeah. In terms of variety, it's pretty crazy. I think they all had something very unique about their lists. Revmarked had obviously the say that MGS collection was really impressive. I have to go back and do 2 and 4 myself at some point, but I played 4 when there was no trophy list available for it.
I went for it as the day the patch got released. I was waiting.
Well, I know, as an ultra fan, I'm not surprised that you did that. Then Realms list it's just like it's got some of those excellent indie games that I'm definitely going to steal some inspiration from later. Alternate Warning has such an amazing Vita list that I need to know which games to go out and get, which games are worth playing there, because it's a little bit of a minefield. I haven't a clue, most of those games, but I'm sure there's some amazing games in there. And then Lancashire Lad's obviously got
Lancashire Lad's on the cusp of greatness, I think. If he can, if he just finishes off the games that are close to being finished, and never adds anything to the list, it would still just be like an amazing trophy collection. Like just like kind of like you're just saying fuck you, I'm great, here's loads of ultra rares, I'm out. Like it's great. Yeah. So I think we'll wrap it there, because I think it was quite a long episode today, but quite a lot to kind of chew on with those lists. So if you've made it this far, thanks a million for watching. And if you'd like us to have a look at your list, just leave a comment down below with maybe a link to your account or your PSN name, and we'll try to get there. Obviously there's been quite a few people asking, so we'll try our best just to kind of get to everyone. So if it takes a while, we apologize, but this is as fast as we can go as two lazy Irishmen.
Yeah. But no, great lists. I'm looking forward to checking out the next ones. We will hopefully get to everyone eventually.
10 years later. We're still working our way through it. So Dan, thanks a million for joining. It's been a while since we actually went for a high five.
Yeah.
Gotta love that lag.
I'll just be still like
I know
5 minutes later.
That frame rate, like, oh god, it's like the Cyberpunk 2077 of high fives. Platchums!